When it comes to a fourth stimulus check, a lot of people wondered whatever happened to that. Is it going to come? Well, Congress and the president have just taken massive action that directly impacts whether or not a fourth stimulus check is coming. Little do people know is that there was actually leftover pandemic and COVID money from all of the stimulus bills that happened in the past, and that amount of money could have easily given a fourth stimulus check. Now, even though the pandemic is over, the economy hasn't fully recovered. And there are still millions of people who are suffering who could definitely use some financial aid. So my big question to you is, would you have preferred a stimulus check or this money to go towards other spending? Now, if it was for a stimulus check, I'll give you the exact numbers of how much this stimulus check could have been with this leftover stimulus funding that the Congress and government didn't even really ask the people whether or how this money could be used. So we'll go over this article right here. COVID clawback in debt limit deals spurs public health fears as this money, hundreds of billions of dollars that was just sitting on the sideline, could have easily been used for a stimulus check, has been clawed back for other uses. Now, when it comes to the exact funding, the exact amount of a stimulus check that you could get, I think you'll be really surprised of how big of a stimulus check it could have been. I'll give you those exact numbers. As the government, there is some transparency that we can see how much money was allocated towards stimulus funding, how much money could have been used for a stimulus check, and why this has stalled. Now, I'll give you all those updates and some other important updates as well. So when it comes to the fourth stimulus check, many politicians have actually promoted it, promised it, tried to fight for it, but it just sort of fizzled out because other politicians created obstacles and roadblocks. But the money was there, which is why I think we were so close to getting a fourth stimulus check. Now, the reason why this is important is because what happens in the future with stimulus funding, as there is still some left over. Could this be used for a fourth stimulus check? And my question to you is, if there was a fourth stimulus check, what amount would you prefer? I'll let you know the exact amount and show you what the check could have been in a moment. But first, COVID clawback in debt limit deals spurs public health fears. So public health advocacy groups are sounding the alarm over provision in the debt ceiling deal to claw back $27 billion in unspent pandemic relief money, arguing it could have consequences for future public health initiatives. Now, when President Biden and Congress signed this big debt limit deal, there was actually a few things in there that not many people know about. That there was a clawback for money. So this unspent COVID or pandemic relief money was used or could have been used for other aid to provide the American people, especially since there have been promises to help out the American people with financial aid. Now that the money has been used in other things, I'll give you all the details. Unspent COVID-19 dollars have long been a target of Republicans, and taking back some of that money gives Speaker Kevin McCarthy a public win. The federal COVID-19 public health emergency ended earlier this month, and President Biden had indicated he was open to a deal that included coronavirus funding rescissions. That clawback was included in the final measure to raise the debt limit, which cleared the House in a bipartisan 314-117 vote Wednesday, and then went to the Senate, then went to President Biden to sign it off. Now, one of the things we weren't aware of is that this money that was left over from the pandemic, although the pandemic is gone, the effects of the economy are still real. Millions of people have never recovered from what happened during the pandemic. If you're on fixed income, low income, Social Security, it has not been enough financial aid, especially since there have been many promises. And if you are low income or fixed income, you definitely deserve more. So what was said here is the appropriators will use some of that money to spread around how they see fit. We didn't get into the individual line items in this bill. So basically, this clawback, taking pandemic money that could have been used for a few different things, now it is not going to be used for anything pandemic related. Now, some people are worried about social service, emergency fund, public health, but what about relief programs, financial relief programs to the millions of Americans who have struggled throughout this pandemic? So let me show you exactly where this money went how it's being used, and how much money could still be used for a stimulus check. So this is the COVID money tracker right here. This is from the Government Committee for Responsible Federal Budget. So this is one of the few things that the government is transparent on. So COVID money tracker, explore the data and track trillions of dollars of federal spending and tax cuts, loans, grants, subsidies authorized and dispersed in the wake of the coronavirus pandemic and economic crisis. So basically, you can see here legislative actions. This is the money that went out for stimulus funding, more specifically, if you're interested in stimulus checks, as well as other stimulus programs that weren't direct payments, but that helped the American people. Now, as you can see, $6 trillion went out for stimulus funding, not just stimulus checks, but other things too. 5.7 trillion. So, right, so 6 trillion minus 5.7 trillion, that's $300 billion in unspent money that was supposed to be used and allocated to help the American people. What can be done with that money? Well, let me show you the exact numbers. If you go to this site, you can see here where all the money has been spent. You can see trillions and billions of dollars. Now, if you click here, you can see legislative action, right? You'll see stimulus checks, right? So we have the first, second, and third stimulus check. First stimulus check, this one right here, $1,200 a person, cost $276 billion. So that shows you exactly how much went out to each state. For example, California, $29.6 billion, Texas, $22.9 billion. But the second stimulus check of $600, was $165 billion. And then the third one was $418 billion. Now, with $300 billion left over, what could be used for this money? When it comes to a actual third or fourth stimulus check, if we look here with $300 billion, $276 billion was used for $1,200 checks, which means that if they were to give out a fourth stimulus check of $1,200, that means you could even make it a little higher than $1,200, or you could give it out to more people who are on low or fixed income. So when it comes to a fourth stimulus check with the $300 billion of unspent funding, there is enough. My big question to you is, should there be a fourth stimulus check with the unspent $300 billion? Let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments below, and what amount should it be? As seen here, for a $1,200 check, which went out to a lot of people in America, it cost $276 billion. With $300 billion, should all that be used for that? Some of it? I'm really curious what your thoughts are, and do the American people deserve this funding, especially since the economy has been in a rubble ever since the pandemic, not fully recovered, with low income and fixed income people really suffering a lot. So I'm really curious your thoughts on that. And that is all the news that I have for you today. To hopefully brighten your day a bit, here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Oh, hi guys, I didn't see you there. Hi guys, this is Bella. This is the tip of the day. I want to tell you something what you should really do. You should always be kind, and if you want to do something very happy, then do it. Like today I'm going to be making popsicle, and I'm going to be doing it with you. So what the first step is, get some milk. You can do cow milk or oat milk. Anyway, and you just have to take these out. And then we pour in the milk. Goop, goop, goop. Goop, goop, goop.
Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your support. If you like how I got straight to the point, showed you the facts, showed you the numbers, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for more updates like this, as well as more Social Security updates. And also, if you want to check out the latest videos on anything related to stimulus or Social Security, click this video right up here, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.